Good morning. Today we are going to water marble a silk scarf. So I've got my big long tray today and we're going to do a scarf. If we haven't met before, my name is Krista and I teach water marbling throughout the central Okanagan here in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. And if you love what you're seeing, you can tap subscribe and learn more about water marbling and learn more about the process and hopefully try it at home. So if you are wanting to have an opinion, I've got these colors chosen for my first scarf, and feel free to comment with colors that you would like to see in the next scarf that I make. So if you want to have an opinion and throw some ideas out there, I'd love to see them. So here we go. So we've got my tray. It's already filled with my gel. So in water marbling, we use a gel called carrageenan. It's made up of seaweed powder and water, and it floats right on the surface. So the first step I have to do is I'm going to skim it. So what I'm going to use for skimming is just some newspaper. So I'm just going to run it along the top. And that's going to get rid of any bubbles, any dust, any particles to skim it. Now I do have a few little floaties back here. I'm just going to pick them up by hand and then or sink them apparently. And then I'm going to skim it one more time. One sec. So skimming helps the surface tension to be nice and smooth for our process. Okay, so just a little piece of newspaper. So I do about 2 inches thick. So now we've got it ready. We're going to start with our first color. This is called Sea Glass, and you'll notice the lid, the container says Bossy, and a lot of them don't say Bossy. So I've learned that some colors really spread significantly. So what makes them spread is called dispersant. So when you buy paint, it's made up of the color molecules and dispersants, or things that help kind of thin the color. And so depending on the color, depends on how much dispersant they've put in the paint before it gets to you. This one's called Cobalt, and I'm just going to tip and drip. So my process, I don't tend to squeeze these bottles because these bottles are just gravity pull. Now this is going to be a little harder to see. I should have started with a different color. Just a sec. I'm going to add another color. So this is called Indigo. This one might be easier for you guys to see on the screen there. Hi! What time is it? Oh, I don't know. Probably, oh, it says on my phone, it's just about 10 o'clock. And then, sorry, I'm just gonna unclog. So sometimes they get a little bit of dried paint on the lid. So I'm just unplugging that. Okay, so here we go, Indigo. Where are you that it's 12 o'clock? I always love to know where you're watching from, so feel free to comment like what city or country you're watching from. So this one should be a lot easier for you guys to see. So this part of the process, they look like little boulders or little rocks. And then you can just keep adding more paint. So one of the questions I get asked is, how do you know when you have enough paint on the tray? So usually you can tell over time. Oh, this one's plugged too. Ah! Come on. Okay, over time you'll kind of learn to see what the colors should look like, or you'll be able to see the vibrancy that you're hoping to achieve with certain colors. Because now we've added even more paint, you can kind of see that green background color is getting a little bit richer. Okay, so we've got lots of paint on the tray. I could put down more. So this is the very first color that we put on. It's in the background here. Oh, you can't see that. It's kind of in here, this background color. So if I go in and put in more, She's bossy, so she's gonna help everybody kind of get more condensed and get richer. How can you tell if you have too much paint on the tray? Well, if you have so much paint on the tray that the paint stays really small, that means you have too much paint on the tray, because that paint needs to open and grow. Now, some paint will just naturally do that. So if I use a bossy color and I go, oh, it's not opening, I have too much paint on the tray. So we're gonna use this guy here. It's a comb. It's called a Nonpareil comb. It's a really fine comb. I did not make this one, I bought this one. So we're just gonna drag it through the whole tray. You could go really straight, or you could have a bit of a wiggle as you go. So I'm gonna go kind of a little bit side to side as I go. And when you're working with different colors, you wanna be wiping, because that paint can transfer from this design to the next one because it's still on the tool. So the next step is going to be this freehand stick. It's literally just a barbecue skewer. And so we're going to go through and just create these swirls. Nice and slow. One of the keys is the slower you go, the more control your paint will continue to move with the current of the water that you're making. Okay. So we've got our design floating. Okay, so we've got our design floating. Now, you could add hearts, you could add flowers, you could add anything you want at this stage, but for my purposes, I'm ready to print it. So how am I gonna print it? Well, I have somebody hiding in the background here. This is my mother-in-law, Eunice, and she's gonna help me print it today. Okay, so we're gonna use a big long piece of silk and we're gonna lay it right on there. Oh, from Illinois. We have somebody watching from Illinois. Hello, Illinois. Okay, so bear with me 1 second. We are going to use, all right. Here we go. Okay, here's our silk scarf. It's this big, long silk scarf. You're gonna come this end, it's gonna be easier for you. You're gonna go this way. Yeah. Crab right to the corners. And we're gonna not let go, hold it so that we're gonna hold it nice and tight and go down, down, down until the water gets to our corner, and then we'll drop it in. So this one's a little bit wrinkly. Yeah, right there. So we're gonna let it touch, keep going down, 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 keep going down. Yeah, perfect. And then we've got some spots where, just because the fabric was a little bit wrinkly, there's a little bit of what I call air pockets where the water just didn't get to touch. So we're just gonna push those in to make sure they're nice and wet. Perfection. Beautiful. Okay, so you can see how the colors have really changed. You can see the design a little bit more clearly once it's printed. You need a cloth. There you got it. Okay. So you can do that as a one-person job. You can use tons of different ways to print it in one motion. I just generally don't get a really good print that way, so I tend to use a second person. So what I'm doing now is using my gloved hands, and I'm just going over the surface to make sure that it's wet all the way through. This design's not going to change. See how it's following the scarf? But I'm just making sure that it's totally absorbed onto the scarf. All right, so here's the big reveal, okay? Now anything that's moving on the surface is usually excess, and it's just dripping off. But we've got our solid print there. Okay, So now it's gonna get a rinse in a bucket of cool water, which I have hiding under the desk. So just 1 second. Okay, so I've just given it a really good little rinse. What the rinse does is it gets rid of this gel off the surface, and it gets rid of any excess paint off the surface because the fabric has absorbed the paint into the textile, so that is permanent. You have to work really hard to get that off. What we're rinsing off is just the excess that wasn't absorbed, so the stuff that would be sitting on the surface. So now the tray has some leftover paint on it. Okay, so there's 3 ways you can clean a tray. Okay, the first one is just with newspaper. The second one is with paper towel. And the third one is you could take another print. Okay, so this tray, we have lots of clear space. So if you did like a colored paper, actually, let me show you. Yes, I have some paper just hiding, ready. Now, when we print, the fabric, the paper, whatever we're printing is pre-treated with alum. It's a drying agent that makes it suck up into the texture. So this one was pre-treated. It's not completely flat because I didn't iron it. Normally I would iron it, but for today's purpose, down here I've got lots of excess left. I'm just gonna go right into it and just print it. So you guys can see, this is what is left behind, and maybe that's a fun opportunity for you to play with the excess. So that's what's left behind. So there's a bit of paint there. So it can be printed. Okay, so this one was pre-treated, so it does a really nice job absorbing the color and the print. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go rinse this, 1 sec. So that's rinsed with some cold water. It's just gonna sit and dry. The other thing you can use to clean your surface is just newspaper. So you would lay it on in sections and it would clean off the surface. So you can see what's left. That excess is on there. Okay, that little bit of paint. But when I do workshops, I'm looking for efficiency, quickness, just trying to get that job done for the next person to use the tray. So I use paper towel. So I lay it on and pull towards myself, and it cleans off very quickly. So if you're doing water marbling at home, just use the newspaper or grab another print or print something that you want to try or add more paint, but you will find that the surface of the tray does start to dry. So that paint that's floating will eventually dry out. So that's what's left. You can see it printed. And then my gel is almost ready for the next print. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab some more colors. Now, they're hiding over here. It's a bit messy, but yeah, this is my studio, so it's messy. Don't judge me, okay? No judging. So we're gonna grab some more colors. This time, I kind of want to go a little bit, no, that one's not good. I'm gonna go a little bit, kind of like sunset inspired colors. Feel free to put some colors on there that you guys think I should use. I'd love to take your advice. We're gonna go with a sunset for this one. Okay, pink. I guess I need to make some more magenta. That's okay, I've got some in here. Okay, so here we go. Purple would be cool. You know what? Purple would be perfect in this. A little bit of purple. I think that's a great idea. I'm gonna go with dark purple. A little bit of dark purple, right? That would be very pretty. Okay, good choice. Thank you. You're hired. All right. So now, why is she shaking the paint, right? Why are you shaking the paint? Okay, so the paint is literally kind of like liquid paint. It's got a lot of water mixed into it. So if it's been sitting for a while, it needs a good shake to remix it back up. So this bottle's a little bit different than these ones, right? This one is, you have to squeeze it. So these are perfect for when I do kid workshops. And because I did some kid workshops, I've got quite a bit of paint stored in these, and we're gonna use it up. Because this girl done waste paint, right? I need some white. Again, mixing the paint, right? So while I'm doing that, let's talk about some questions. If you have questions, ask them. I'd love to know your questions. Why can't you re-dip an item? That is a question I've been asked this week. And how it works is whatever you're printing onto is pre-treated with alum, which is a drying agent. And that drying agent treats the fabric or material so that it's so super dry that when it touches the paint, it has this chemical reaction and just picks it right up. And once it's wet, it uses up all of that reaction and it can't react anymore that way. So it's kind of like a one-time thing. It can only print once. So, but it's printed when it's wet. So if that material is still dry, then yeah, you could still dip it in, but once it's wet, it's printed. It can't absorb any more into the material that you're printing. Eunice, do you want to help me float some paint? We're gonna do this one together. Okay, so we're gonna skim first, just a strip of newspaper, and then we're going to float some paint. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, so we've got that guy done. First step, I'm gonna put down, could you reapply the drying agent? Yes, but it's called, oh dear, Dinah, it's what is it called? It is called, okay, I can't think of it, it'll come to me. What happens is you'll have your white fabric, you'll have your print that's there, and then you retreat it. Those two things are still there, and then you would print again. Oh, it has a name. So you see through all the prints. What's it called? I can't remember. Dang it. Okay, so here you go. Eunice, you just grab whatever paint, and we're just gonna drip some drops. I'm gonna reset this camera. What is it called? Oh, you stumped me. Not you stumped me, but oh, it's got a name. That's okay, it'll come. Anyways, yeah, so you can reprocess that paint to reprint. Yeah, you go on to the next one, go right ahead. Dang it, what is it called? Do I have one? No, I don't. Okay, great question. I will put it in the caption if I find it. The other question I get asked is, why do I wear gloves? So I don't wear gloves when I'm working with the paint, but my skin doesn't like the moisture that happens with the rinsing process. So I wear gloves just to kind of protect my hands from all the water that we rinse in. Is there some purple in there?
Oh, not much.
Not much. We got another bottle. It's coming? Yeah, there you go. All right. What is that called? I can't remember what it's called. I'm still thinking about it. Welcome to my brain. Okay, so what other has we haven't used these two, I don't think.
That one I used.
That one you used?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is called pumpkin spice. It's kind of like an orangey yellow.
Oop.
I was inspired by pumpkin spice lattes, but you can't really eat that one. And then we've got some magenta. So this little bottle, we're gonna give her a little bit of a squeeze. Do you ever tie-dye stuff? I am not a tie-dye artist. This process is very different from tie-dyeing in that it's kind of, well, yeah, it's a totally different process. But we did do tie-dye with the kids once in the summer, made t-shirts. They turned out really good. Some turned out better than others. Okay, so we got our paint down. I'm gonna look at I've pulled some scarves that are inspiration that I wanted to use as ideas, because when I get going, I forget my plan, as do most people, right? Okay, so this is a really big long tool. It's the whole length of the tray, and it's going to, it's not going to work because I've got all of these. Oh, maybe it will. Okay. We're gonna hit the bonk. We did. Okay. There we go. Okay, so it wasn't as efficient as I wanted because, of course, I've got tripods everywhere, but that's okay. So that design is called it's called a Gelget. It means come and go. So our art originated from Turkey. It was originally used to print paper. The originating art is called Ebru, and you can use it to print onto pretty much anything you want. So this one I'm gonna go the opposite way and bump into more stuff. So that's the only problem with doing things live, is that it's not perfect. Bump into more stuff. There we go. And so what I'm doing is I'm using the tray as my guide. So my finger is running along the tray as I guide my tool so that I get that nice straight line. Okay. So what a transformation, hey? We're gonna go one more. I need my little stick. We're gonna do the little stick instead of the big tool because it gives us a little bit more control. You're gonna like this one. Just wait for it. You're gonna like this one. So again, just a barbecue stick, a barbecue skewer stick. Isn't that fun? So this design is going to be a little bit thinner than the last one. So every time you pull a tool through, the lines or design get finer and finer and finer. Okay? So that, ooh, just about fell in. We've got that guy. We're going to use this one again, that non-pareil. Okay? It's going to look totally different because of the work we've done before. And you'll also notice that this design is a lot easier to see on the tray, and that's because we did a white background instead of a colorful background like we did on the first piece. So again, wiping that stick. What do you guys think of that one? Right? Really, really fine lines. And then there's this comb or rake. And we're just gonna create this little circle movement. This one is called a French curl. I probably execute it wrong, so it's probably not called a French curl when I do it. Because I like to leave some space of the non-pareil so you kind of see those really flowy lines. So what I was doing with this tool was I was making this little circle shape. 1, 2, 3, and then lifting up and going 1, 2, 3. Lifting up and going with that nail, okay? So we've got that ready to go. I don't think we need anything else. Do you think we need to add anything else to it?
I think it looks great.
I think it's pretty printed.
Yeah.
Okay, so structured chaos. Yeah, that's That's pretty much what water marbling is. That's a great definition. Okay, so we're gonna print. Okay, this is the magic. Here comes the scarf. Okay, I've said okay a bazillion times. They're gonna be sick of hearing that. But that's okay, as she says it again. So this one, we just want to hold on to it a little bit longer. And yeah, right there, you got it. Hold it a little bit longer in the water before we let go, just to make sure we get those air pockets. Right there, down we go. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. And probably now we can tuck that end in and just let go and tuck her in, yeah. All right. So I find purple to be the runniest color. So when we lift it up, anywhere there was purple, you'll really see it dramatically running on the surface as if it's bleeding and ruined the whole design. But again, it's just excess moving and it'll rinse off, no problem. Okay, so we've got rid of all the air pockets. I might have a spot here where I get a white spot. That's okay, it happens sometimes. Gloves on. They're really dirty, but it's just paint, right? At least it's on here and not my hands. Okay, so just making sure that the back of the fabric is wet. All the way through. Okay, nice and saturated. My favorite part. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. And now the fabric can touch. It's not going to bleed or run because it's already wet with all the paint, or absorbed as much as it can, and it won't run into itself. Just getting a rinse in some cold water. Okay, I'm just gonna let that drip for a sec. They look so good. Okay, so, and just all that leftover paint is just gonna get cleaned off with some paper towel. And I know I mentioned it earlier, but you can use newspaper to clean it. You could go through and reprint something else here. Let's just do that super quick. So I have one more left. So let's see what this end would have looked like on just some white paper so you can see it, okay? So, that's the remainder of the paint. So there's not really a lot left. It makes a really pretty print. And I did get an air pocket. So yeah, so I'm just gonna rinse that. I'll finish cleaning the tray. One sec. Sorry. I ran out of spaces to dry them, so I've got them hanging off like the sink faucet. I had more paper towel. Where did I put it? Over here. The chaos of live. All right, here we go. All right, okay, so so there's our leftovers. Not much. Okay, it's gonna go in the bucket. And then that's it. So what is the finished product? Okay, so what we make, they become scarves. So they're scarves. So it's just fabric. Today, that's what we were printing, was fabric. So let's see what this one looks like. I'll borrow your hands one more time, Eunice. Okay. So this is the first one we did. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. So that's the first one that we printed with like the ocean inspired colors. So now what happens is I fold it up. I'm actually would normally at a workshop put it in a little Ziploc bag and my guests would take it home with some instructions. But because I'm already home, I'll just rinse it one more time, hang it up, let it dry, and then I'll iron it after it's completely dry. So that's what we're making, is some fabric. So that's the first one we made. And this, ooh, is still really wet, but that's okay. It's just water. Sorry, floor, but it'll wipe off. Now, whoops. There we go. And that's the second one we made. Oh, I like that one a lot. It's kind of giving sunset vibes. And there we are. So the fabric's totally printed. It's not gonna rub off on your hands. There's no paint sitting on the surface. It's just wet. Okay? All right, so if you love watching water marbling, feel free to tap subscribe. And if you have any questions about what you've seen, pop them in the comments and I will get to them later today. All right, thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a wonderful day.